What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Rambling Garage. Today we're going to be taking a look at something for the Rambler, hence the Rambler shirt. Gotta start taking a look at this Gen 2 AMC intake conversion for the Gen 1 motor that we have been talking about. Waiting on a few parts for that. I actually did get something in that we're going to review. But I started filming this a long time ago, back in like January, February. And I was comparing the RPM air gap to the Torker intakes. So we're going to take a look at that right now, and then we'll pick up in present day again. So let's take a look at that. You guys have seen the Gen 1 AMC intake stuff before. This is a Gen 2 AMC intake that we were originally going to cut up and make fit. I did do a little order on eBay, got me an Edelbrock. This one is the Performer RPM air gap. This one was the Torker. This one required more cutting, which I was fine with, but it is it's a single plane intake, whereas the Performer is a dual plane. So I ordered that up. We're going to unbox this here in a second and take a look. Coming up also, as you can see, I obviously have tires here for the bike here. This has the original Pirellis from Italy on it, and they are now almost 50 years old. So I want to get those off of there. I think they're 48, if I do math correctly. I just want to get those off of there. I'll use them a little bit on the road. They're obviously still decent tread, given this bike only has 1,000 miles on it, but they need to go. They're probably not safe anymore. So first things first, we can get these tires out of the way, and we'll open that box and see what we got. Alright, there we have it. This might be the first ever intake I've bought new. This thing is pretty. We can pair it over here to the Torker. They have somewhat similar designs. Again, you don't have the, I don't know, put this on so it doesn't fall, but you don't have the exhaust crossover on this one, which actually will make it a lot easier to cut. And apparently we'll dig up a gasket. I'm pretty sure I have one around here somewhere, but apparently these holes will line straight up with the AMC Gen 1 intake gasket. So you just have to get a half-inch thick plate, which we'll either have made or I'll find somebody that already has them. We'll do some cutting. It looks like we'll probably be able to just cut straight down here. Same here, and just cut straight across. One of the concerns I think on these was how tall it was. So I want to take a look at that right now. There's been many people that have done the Torker and they don't have an issue, but apparently the air gap here is maybe a little bit taller. So let's find out. So I'm side by side here. And if it's taller, it's very marginal. I think they look about the same. Actually, looking at it, the air gap, the Torker kind of has an angle to it. The air gap might be a little shorter. Hard to tell. Either way, we're going to make it work. I will find a gasket and we'll show you guys what we have to do for the cutoff process. It should be pretty straightforward, but let's find a gasket. Alright, so I said we were gonna, go find some gaskets, and then I never really did it, and now I'm looking down there. I see a gasket, so I did it at one point, but that's not totally what I wanted to do. I was gonna take a look at the gasket and see where we're gonna cut, but then I thought about it, and I was like, hey, maybe we should get the flanges that we're actually gonna use for spacers and use those to cut around, which I think is going to be a better deal. So I actually got those. I ordered those in. I got those from a guy named Kevin. I won't put his full name out there because I don't know if he wants that. But if you have questions on who to reach out to for these or who can maybe get you some of these, definitely reach out to me and I can point you in the right direction. So our garage is a mess because we've been building the deck. I'll put a little picture of the deck in right now. Still got to do the railing and stuff, but I just got tools kind of laying all over from doing that. Did the composite decking and everything. Turned out real nice. So in here we have 4 flanges, really. Couple metal, couple aluminum, and we're going to take a look at them. All right, so these 4 things kick off some pretty exciting things for our Rambler and our 327. So I just want to reiterate and give a big thank you to Kevin for getting these over. They're really nice. I believe they're all laser cut, I'm not sure. But these are actually exhaust flanges, if you couldn't tell already. So those are going to be helping us to start our header build. I'm not going to be doing the header build itself. I'll probably have to find somebody to do that for me because I don't have the time or the knowledge or the welding ability to do that. But that's really going to wake this motor up along with some heads and potentially a whole new build. These are what we're looking at today. These are 1-inch intake spacers. As we can see, they match our 327 intake gasket. All we're going to be looking at today is how they fit this intake and kind of where we're going to need to make our cuts. And then in the next video, we're going to start marking it off and cutting it. So I'm going to flip this intake over. We're going to take a look at it and see what we have to do. All right, so just taking a look at these. It's pretty crazy. The inside bolt holes line up. These bolt holes almost line up. Which I think we can just kind of widen those on the intake itself and make it work to where we don't have to actually weld this. I think that's when I'm going to do it first. The intake passages are pretty close to lining up. I'll probably clearance the gasket or the spacer a little bit just to make those line up a little better. And then we'll clean up the intake itself. As we can see, we have some overhang there. So we'll just we'll polish that up and port it a little bit and match that. Same on the other side. So obviously it looks like we're going to be making some cuts all the way through. We'll cut this entire centerpiece out because we have an actual valley cover on the 327. So we'll do a cut basically up and across and down on both sides. There'll be a little cleaning up to do, but I think this intake's going to make that process pretty easy. So if we flip it over and look on the other side, again, that cut's going to be pretty much straight across. We're going to have to make sure we don't miss here, so we'll have to go down and over and then across. Should be a pretty easy cut. Same thing over here. We have this here. I don't know if this is... I think that's where distributor goes to, or I don't know these Gen 2, Gen 3 intakes as well, or the motors, but we will get to know them a little bit better. But we'll cut all this stuff out. We're gonna, same thing over here, cut down, over, and across. Should be some really easy cuts. And then of course we just have to go the full distance of the intake to clear out the valley cover area. This thing should be super easy to cut up, and then we'll just clean up the edges, obviously, kind of make them match the spacer here, so they have a bit of a nice rounded edge. So this project's going to be, I think, pretty easy, and should wield some really good results. All right, guys. So not a whole lot happening in this video. Just taking a look at what's going to be required to make this intake work. We do have some plugging to do as well. If we turn back around here and take a look, we're going to need to plug some of these guys. Our throttle linkage is going to utilize at least one of these, maybe both of them. We'll have to modify that bracket, but I do have an extra, and I think we can just trim this guy right off and make that look clean. A lot of those are just kind of afterthought things. We might even be able to like JB weld this and just cut it flat and make it look nice. We'll see. But we're going to get the base intake done, get it so it fits, and get it so we can install it, and we'll go from there. This is also a dual plane, so I don't remember if I said earlier, but this will help us to set up our nitrous as we have the plate system, and we'll kind of look into setting that up with a Holley EFI. So as I mentioned earlier, I don't know a whole lot about the Gen 2 and Gen 3 intakes or the engines themselves, but we are going to be changing that. I have a pretty big surprise coming for you guys, and I think if you guys are AMC guys, you guys are going to like it. So that's probably going to be coming in the next video or two. I will have that for you. We definitely have more motorcycle content coming. I'm just waiting on a few parts and stuff like that. But I've been working on the SS125. But I did want to get you guys a video out. It's been 3 weeks since my last video, and I'm overdue. So I want to thank you guys for watching. I look forward to doing this intake project with you. I have more Rambler suspension projects, and we'll eventually be doing the headers as well. So definitely a lot more stuff coming. If you guys want to see this stuff, be sure to like and subscribe. It really helps me a lot. And that's it. I'll see you guys in the next video.